Shooter, make ready. Are you ready? Stand by.
I have here the Langdon Tactical take on that Hellcat Pro. So I just
That's a group.
Well, well, well.
I'm excited about this one.
This is
gonna be fun.
fun.
We are out here on the range this morning. I am Danny from Make Ready Shooting,
Buck from Brass Tactical.
and then we got our buddy Kurt with us.
Hello, hello.
From Kurt's awesome. We've been shooting together a little while. For those of you that saw the Waltz 9 introduction video, Kurt was able to shoot that gun with me.
Yeah, that's good
so,
stuff.
He and I shoot on the same squad every week. Today, we've got a comparison set up. We have 10 guns on the table. And what we're doing is we're kind of plugging onto the most recent fad. And that is a compensator on your carry gun, on your everyday carry.
An EDC comp.
So now, I want to say up front, we do not own every gun that has ever been manufactured. So I'm sorry, talk to my wife. Because I would own every gun ever manufactured. If it was,
I've already talked to her, and it did not go well.
did not go well. Okay. All right.
So apologies if your favorite gun is not on the table, but I feel like we've got a really broad spectrum of concealed carry 9mm striker fired guns.
We definitely do.
Yeah. Now, it's also, we didn't set these all up so that everything is completely equal and fair. There are differences between the guns, and we try to take that into account. So we've set up a scoring matrix to try and account for what we feel like most everyday carry guys are going to care about. So number one, rated at a 30% weight to the score is the concealability of the gun. There's a gun on this table, for example. This is the Glock 43. Obviously very concealable, but it's going to lose out on some of the other tests. So 30% weight is going to be given to the drill that we're going to run hit factor. So it's going to be actual in the shootability of the gun. Next one is going to be 20% is going to be the feel and the fit in your hand, and this is subjective. Now we have 3 different sizes of hands. We got 3 different guys. We're going to rank those on our own on how they feel in the hand. And guys, the reason this is important to me and the reason this is 20% is I don't want an everyday carry gun that I don't shoot. Right. So my rule is every time I come to the range and I'm shooting other guns, I pull out my EDC and I shoot. And the problem is I see so many guys that they're like, oh, this is an amazing everyday carry, but I hate shooting the thing. So then they don't become proficient with it.
And when your life is on the line, comfort does start to play a factor. If you can't hold on to it, you're not going to be accurate. You're not going to be fast.
Absolutely.
You may not even be able to get it out of your holster very well if you can't get a good purchase on it.
And you've got to be familiar with the gun. Like I learned this in competition. The more familiar you are with the gun, the more free space your brain gains to think about the stage plan and all those kind of things. And under pressure with adrenaline in a defensive situation or something, I want the gun to be second nature.
Yeah.
I don't want to be thinking about, wait, on this one, how do I turn that safety off? Because I haven't used it in a long time.
Right.
The next one is, these two are rated at 10%. Precision accuracy. Okay, we've got a pretty tight precision test we're going to run on each of these guns. And everyday carry guns are not typically, we're going to hit this 1-inch circle type guns. But we're going to test them that way.
Yeah.
And then finally, the final category at 10% is also capacity. So and that's just a raw number. How many rounds is the gun capable of holding from the factory? We're not doing mag extensions or anything crazy. Just factory magazines. How many does it hold? So raw score there. That's how we'll score it all out. We got 3 different shooters shooting the accuracy and the hit factor challenge.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this video. It's Unlimited Ammo. They provided all of the ammunition, 147 grain red rockets that we're going to use for the hit factor test. For the accuracy test you're about to see, we used a mix of factory 115s, but for the hit factor test, we wanted to all have exactly the same ammo, and Unlimited Ammo came through with that for us. So they're a fantastic manufacturer. I can tell you they're here local in Arizona. I've been shooting their ammo for quite a while, and I've never had a single round where it was a light primer strike or any ammo related issue whatsoever while shooting their ammo. So I run it in my JP5, I run it in all my other guns. It's good stuff, and I'm grateful to them for sponsoring this video. We'll talk a little bit more about them later. This is the target we use for the accuracy challenge. This is on a regular standard sized piece of paper, 8.5 by 11 or whatever. And it's set up so that each of those circles is 1 inch, and then the circle for the groups are 3 inches. We shot this target at 7 yards, so not a crazy distance, but further than most defensive shootings end up being. And we wanted to really kind of push the edge of accuracy with these little guns. So this is the target we're using. I'm not going to make you watch every single gun that we do this with. 3 guys shooting 10 guns, 15 rounds like that. I have more than 30 minutes of footage just of this test. But I'm going to show you some of the highlights so you can get an idea of how the test flowed, so you can see how we're comparing things at the end, and then we'll cut straight to the results for this. I'll also link to this document in the description below. So if you'd like a copy of this, you're welcome to go download it and use it in your own testing.
With the P365 SIG P365 XL with the Radian ramjets. We're going 15 rounds here. Here we go. And 5-round groups. And one more of those.
Nice shooting, Kurt.
It's good stuff.
Canik Prime.
Now, while Buck's shooting here, let me point out the cardboard that he's got behind him there. That was a good idea. It just didn't come through in production. The issue was we just weren't able to keep consistent on the distance from it and things. So none of the footage really can you see that those lines are, you can't tell recoil from it. So you can see what we're trying to accomplish there. It just didn't work out. So it kind of threw that out of the footage.
It's a Glock 45 with a Radian ramjet.
Alright, I got the SIG 365X with the Harrington comp. Alright, 5-round groups.
Nice group. All right. Yeah, you do not like the Hellcats.
I do not. I mean, I got decent groupings on that last one,
Yeah,
but they're all low.
both of them. Neither one of those guns did you like.
Yeah.
You shot the Langdon one significantly better.
Did I?
Yeah, than that. Yeah.
Oh, I felt like that one was my worst.
Well, it was until that one.
Oh.
Just the Hellcat doesn't agree with you.
Yeah.
That's something kind of cool about these tests. Is like, we just found out Buck does not like a Hellcat Pro. Like,
Yeah.
Buck shoots
Apparently,
better than 99% of the guys I've ever shot handgun with. And that Hellcat Pro, it was like he was throwing rocks.
Let's get into some of these results. We'll talk accuracy first. Accuracy by shooter. For me, I shot the Glock 45 the best, and it makes sense because the Glock 45 is my everyday carry. It's the gun I was most familiar with. Then the gun that surprised me, the Canik METE Prime. I shot second best, followed by the Hellcat Pro that's been customized and really, really improved by Langdon Tactical here in Arizona. Then I shot the P365 XL, the Glock 19, the P365 Standard, I guess it's an X, the TSOS X9, the Hellcat Pro Comp, the 80% arms. That gun, I struggled with that gun all day. Kept having malfunctions. And as we get to the other tests, you'll see it. Others had malfunctions there as well. And then that Glock 43 was always going to struggle in this test. Open sights on a tiny gun like that, 7 yards. This was going to be a challenge. Accuracy for Kurt. His everyday carry is his Glock 19. He shot that the best, followed by the 45, and there's the Canik again. Then he did well with the 80% arms, and down the list it goes 365 XL, standard 365, TSOS X9, Hellcat Pro by Langdon, Hellcat Pro Comp, and that Glock 43. Getting to Buck, he also shot the 45 the best, followed by the Canik METE Prime. Interesting. 80% arms he did well with, didn't give him any problems. 365 XL, Glock 19, P365, the Hellcat Pro by Langdon, and the Glock 43, the TSOS X9, and then dead last is that Hellcat Pro Comp. Those two guns just did not agree with Buck at all. When it comes to capacity and concealability, what we did was we just reached a consensus on this. Look, capacity's straightforward. Capacity's just the number of rounds. That TSOS X9 comes with an 18-round mag from the factory. The 45, 365 XL, and the Canik all come with a 17-round mag. The 19, the two Hellcats, and the 80% arms have 15-round mags from the factory. And then you've got the P365 at 12 rounds, and we cheated just a little bit here for that Glock 43. It comes with a 6-round mag, but we used a couple times just for round count that 9-round magazine that I have that's aftermarket. So we allowed that to kind of sit there. But either way, dead last on capacity for the Glock 43. When it came to concealability, we just measured the size of the guns. The only one that was really a close call was that race for last place, which the TSOS wins. The Glock 45 was just slightly smaller. It was mostly the thinness of that slide made it a little bit more concealable than the TSOS. But from the top down, number one, the Glock 43, obviously. The P365, the 365 XL, the Canik METE Prime, Hellcat Pro Comp, and the Langdon, virtually identical, but the Langdon has a magwell on it, so that was a slight difference maker there. The Glock 19, the 80% arms, and then there's that 45 and the X9 rounding out the concealability. Next, we're going to get into shootability. Let's look at that test.
All right, this next test is what you've been waiting for, what we've been waiting for and looking forward to. We're about to run the actual shootability test here, and what we've set up a USPSA classifier. We've set up Fluffy's Revenge 2 is the name of this classifier. We actually ran this last weekend.
Last week.
That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, and this portion of the video is brought to you by, sponsored by, Unlimited Ammo. Unlimited ammo provided the ammo that we're about to use. They've got these 147 red rockets. These things are super popular here locally. Yeah. Unlimited Ammo, they're a local company.
They just opened up the range,
which is awesome.
It's an awesome range.
And they've moved their I stopped by the Queen Creek branch yesterday, and that's purely manufacturing now. So correct. Gilbert, right next to where the Top Golf is right there, they have a phenomenal range, and then their retail spots there as well. Here's what we're doing on this next section. We've set it up as close to as we can with our measurements to the actual classifier. But we're going to have to do a couple things a little different because we've got all these different everyday carry guns. We're going to start from low ready, and then it's one hit on steel. There are two pieces of steel, one straddling each side of the USPSA targets, and then we've got 3 targets. It's 1 on steel, 2 on paper. This is a Comstock scoring, so we might take some follow-up shots, but we got a couple guns on the table that capacity is going to be an issue if you're taking follow-up shots. I think that we've got 10 rounds possible max in the Glock 43. It's iron sights, Glock 43 with 10 rounds on an 8-round stage. So don't miss. And then we'll have a scoring and a ranking of these guns based on hit factor on the stage we're about to run. Let's go. Ready? Yep. Stand by.
All right, here's Kurt shooting the 365 XL.
You're finished. Unload and show clear. Bye.
Here's me running that Glock 43.
We're finished. Unload, show clear.
You get one miss with that gun. That's
it.
That's what you get.
Stand by.
Buck with the Glock 19. It's got that 365.
3.39.
And now Kurt with the Glock 43.
Nice run. 3.88. Oh. 2 Charlies?
Dang it, yeah. 4 and 2.
Here's one of the malfunctions with that 80% arms. This is Buck, Glock 43, had to reload.
Oh, no!
12:30.
Kurt with that T-Sauce X9.
3.21, all alphas.
Ooh.
Here's Buck with the 365 XL.
Nice.
And then here's Kurt with the Canik.
2.79.
2.79.
And then I
Hits.
got your next one here.
Alpha, 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 and 2 Charlies. So 4 alpha, 2 Charlie. Yep.
And here's me with the Canik.
3.08.
308.
Heck yeah.
All alpha.
Dang.
You ready? Stand by.
Here's my horrific run with the 365.
Come on!
6-1. And you got a delta. Oh, you hit the white.
Oh, I did. Yep.
Couldn't finish on that. Here's my run with the Glock 45. Let's talk final results. Ergonomics. This is one that we each sat down and ranked for ourselves, so each shooter had their own rankings here. For me, the Glock 45 fit my hand the best. It always has. I love that gun. The Canik METE Prime felt second best in my hand, and it was close. I was really impressed how well that thing fit. The T-Sauce Ergonomics are surprisingly fantastic. For such an affordable firearm, man, that thing feels really good in the hand. Then you go down the Glock 19, the 80% arms. Again, I've got big hands, so you can see size is a big correlation here. Got the 365 XL, the 365, the 2 Hellcat Pros, and then finally the Glock 43. For Kurt, he preferred the Canik the best in his hand, followed by that T-Sauce. Again, it feels really good. Then he likes the 365 XL, the 19, the 45, the 80% arms, then the Hellcats, the P365, and last place again, the Glock 43. For Buck, it's the Glock 45 first, the Canik METE Prime second. So again, that gun, top 2 for all 3 of us. Then the T-Sauce, the Glock 19, the 80% arms, the 365 XL, the 365, the 2 Hellcats, which did not agree with Buck, and then the Glock 43, again, dead last. Shootability. Here's the hit factor results, guys. For me, I shot the Canik METE Prime the best. It surprised me. Glock 45 was right on its heels, but the Canik outperformed it in my hand on the one stage. The 365 XL was number 3, followed by the T-Sauce, the Hellcat Pro Comp, the Glock 19, and then I struggled a little bit. I did not have a great shooting day when it came to these stages. The Hellcat Pro, I had a couple Charlies on. The Glock 43 was just a little slow. It's open sights. The 80% arms, that gun on this test gave us all problems. Every one of us had a malfunction with it. And then I, as you saw, completely blew it on the P365. Wasn't super fast with it, but then I tagged a no-shoot. And yeah, you can't tag a no-shoot and still score well. So that's on me. Kurt shot the Canik the best as well, followed by the T-Sauce. The 365 XL performed really well for him. Then the 365, the Glock 19, Hellcat Pro. Both of those are back-to-back there. then the Glock 43, and then he bombed out on the Glock 45. Not quite as bad as I did with the 365, but he did not shoot the 45 well, and that's usually a really favorite gun of his. And then dead last, again with malfunctions, was the 80% arms. Buck shot the Glock 19 the best, followed surprisingly by the P365. The SIGs agreed with Buck. Got the SIG XL next, the T-Sauce was number 4, the Glock 45, then the Canik Prime. Hellcat Pros were back-to-back, 80% arms, more malfunctions, and then that little Glock that could come up and bring it in the rear. Okay, guys, final results. Let's talk about these weighted results again real quick, just so we get a recap. 30% of the score is based on concealability, 30% on shootability, that's that hit factor test. 20% on the feel in the hand, the ergonomics, are you going to want to shoot this gun again? And then the last two categories get 10% each. They are capacity and that precision accuracy test. With those weighted results, here are the rankings. I was shocked. The Canik METE Prime came in at number 1, just edging out the P365 XL. Again, this is the average across all 3 shooters. And some of these results were skewed a little bit by some of the shooting, but they showed consistency across all 3 of us. The Glock 45 took 3rd, the Glock 19 4th, the regular 365, followed by the T-Sauce, the 2 Hellcats, the Glock 43, and then dead last place, the 80% arms, just with all those malfunctions. Now, I ran the results without the weighting. So 20% of the score goes to each of the 5 categories, and here's what changed. Not much. The Canik still comes in first, followed by the P365, the Glock 45, and the Glock 19. The T-Sauce and the P365 swap places at 5 and 6. And then down at the bottom, the 80% arms and the Glock 43 swap places as well. Everything else remained identical. So for those of you that didn't like the way that we weighted them, and there's no way we were going to make everybody happy doing it, it's just what we had agreed on. Here are those non-weighted results. So it looks like I know the next gun that I have to purchase. I've got to get my hands on the Canik METE Prime. That gun shoots freaking amazing. My question is, do I pick one of these up, or do I spend a little bit of extra money and hold out and try and get my hands on one of the new Prime Radians? These things are unobtainium right now. Should I hold out and get my hands on one of those? Let me know in the comments below. We'll see you next time.